So with us, AMO Communications founder Elvis, and he has worked with us on GITM 2024 project. We are just here to take feedback from him. So I'll have certain questions to ask you, sir.
Sure.
So what was your first and experience of working with eventos?
Okay. When we first started, I would say that it was in a pretty gray area because I was not the person interacting with ibentos at that time. Okay. We had a team that was doing that. But once we got together on our first meeting on Zoom, when Harpreet came into the picture at that time, post that one meeting, I think changed my entire perception. All my, doubts which I had, fears, inhibitions, everything was wiped out. And I knew that, we were going to be working with the right company to take this project forward, and whatever, new benchmarks that we had set up in order to scale up GITM, using automation, getting on the metaverse, that this company would help us to reach where we wanted to go.
Awesome.
So that was that one meeting, one Zoom meeting.
I know it really matters. I
Yeah,
think that's the DNA with the bentos. We believe that product is one part. It
yeah,
has to complement with the service and the delivery. So my
absolutely.
second question to you is, what problem did Ibento's technology solve for you and wish you had known earlier?
As I was saying, that there were lots of challenges that were coming as we went along working on the project. But from what I found that in working with eventers was that if there was a problem, there was an on-the-spot solution. Especially you, Harpreet, you would say that, let me think. Those were your words, let me think. And that actually resulted in a solution that came out. If you told me that in the night, then next morning we had a solution. If you told me that in the morning, then by the end of the day, there was a solution. So I think that's absolutely brilliant. And if we had really applied this entire process to everything else that we were doing on the back end, without eventos being in the picture, I think it would have helped us even better. So I would look at eventos in the future as not to be just handling one solution of a large project like what we did, but I would like eventos to be the whole and soul of the back end in terms of the technology, in terms of the automation, in putting everything together. Eventor's entire configuration dashboards, as you rightly said, will have
Right.
to be conceptualized, created, conceived prior to even appointing vendors, suppliers.
Correct.
So the entire process will need to be created before we actually get on. So I think that is something we missed out on, but maybe we will fill those blocks in the future when we work
Right.
together.
Okay. So about the B2B meeting technology, like we worked on, it's, I would say, one of the most unique products that we have for this event, or especially for, I would say, for the B2B industry. So what
Yes.
was your experience like? How was it different from previous year of your events? Like you would have been doing B2B in past as well. So what difference you saw when we did it for you?
So the first thing we jumped at when we spoke is that it's going to be a URL based system. I think that's the first thing that looked like apples, cherries to us. And the icing on the cake was that it's going to be URL based because our concept was that, GITM would be an absolutely paperless event.
Yeah.
So even the Goa tourism stall did not have a single brochure in the pavilion. It only had QR codes. And the URL based solution that you provided, though it was a challenge for a few, for most, I would say for 97% or 98% of the buyers, it worked seamlessly. It was absolutely seamlessly. It was glitchless, is what most of the buyers said. And
Awesome.
there were some buyers who came to our help desk saying that it's not happening, it's not working. And when I would try it, it would work.
Yeah.
And they call me a magician, but actually the magician is sitting on the other side of the screen right now.
And I think I personally believe that because these are biased from different part of the world. They were not from India, right? They were from coming from
Right,
different parts.
right,
So a
right.
lot of time, the mobile phones they are using, sometimes they
Yeah,
might have
yeah,
internet connectivity issues. A lot of things are there,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
imagine nobody was there from Eventos. It was just a
yeah.
piece of software which did the job, right?
Yes,
With that kind
yes,
of accuracy level, as you mentioned, like around 97% of the accuracy level,
yeah,
where, and even if
yeah.
few people had some issues, that might be because of the internet connectivity or something like that.
No, not the internet connectivity. The issues were primarily, I would say, that they were not following the process
Okay.
properly. And
Okay.
it was just that comprehension level of those 1 or 2%. which actually was a problem, but we can ignore that. It was a fantastic solution. And
Right.
I think it's a solution of the future
Yeah, I
for,
think it had like a matchmaking portal prior to the event, and it was
right,
working during the event also. The matchmaking was not
right,
just because it was
right.
completely automated platform which we built it for you. So
So I
if
think the ad hoc meeting, tag that you had
yeah,
actually changed everything. That changed everything, and that gave me a brainwave in the night that probably I should put a prize money to the buyer that conducts the most number of meetings. And you put the ticker, and everybody read it. And next morning, suddenly we had that dashboard,
right.
screaming to the top, and it really worked. I mean, it really worked.
So do you think the animated dashboard which we created was that
Yeah.
helpful to track the live events, number of buyers, sellers?
Absolutely. The animated dashboard that was created really gave a sense of authenticity. It
Right.
gave a sense of, that yes, this is real, it's in real time. And the director of tourism, Goa Tourism, also held his phone because I had sent the link to him to the
Awesome.
press and showed it to the press as it was happening live. And the
Wow.
figures were changing, and that was very impressive. And that really struck home that this was an event that was really being handled in a very systematic, professional, ticking all the boxes on the processes.
So one of my favorite question for you is now like taking Goa tourism to metaverse was a big step for the travel industry, I
Yes.
would say. What is your take on it, and why did you choose Ebento's metaverse platform for the same?
I think a day before the launch of the inauguration of the GITM, I had a meeting with the Honorable Minister for Tourism. At that time, he was discussing the very same thing. We were looking at whether the exhibitors and sellers were ready for the platform. And he did say that we were leaping into the future, probably ahead of our time. But I did mention to him that if we don't start now, then we will never reach where we are.
Right.
But I think Ebentos really optimized the entire system so well that I could demonstrate in the board meeting of Goa Tourism that
Wow.
my loading time was less than 40 seconds. So I
Right.
actually showed it to them live using the hotspot of my phone, that too,
Wow.
not
That's
even a
awesome.
Wi-Fi connection.
So now my final question, which actually is very important for me, apart from
Yeah,
technology platform, I think
yeah,
we are known for our service, as said by our earlier partners, customers as well. So my same question for you, like feedback for Evento's team or
yeah.
recommendations or other event organizer considering Evento's technology. What is your feedback for Evento's team?
I can't add anything much because the gurus are on that side. So, feedback I would say is, of course, there's always scope for improvement in every field.
Right.
But as I said, the challenges for every event are different. And I'm sure
Right.
Eventos as a company would face different challenges with different organizations and with different teams. But the fact of the matter is that you are coming up with a solution immediately, or rather, in the night, if we have a problem, by morning, you have the solution. So that doesn't matter actually. So I would say that just do what you're doing the way you're doing it. And the most important quality of every Eventos team member that I have encountered within the last 6 to 8 months that we have been on this project is
Yeah.
that every soul in Eventos is cool and calm. And that's an art, I must say. I don't know how, but that's an art, and it's something I like. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's something that I need to learn is how to address situations in a calm, cool, and absolutely quiet manner. And I think every member of the Bentos team, is a representative of this nature. Hats off to you all for that.
Thank you, Elvis. I think this has been a great feedback for us. That I think we really look forward to work with you, your future events. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
we'll see you soon in Canada.
Yes. Yes. Yes.